Do you look towards the stars from your planet? Do you have telescopes powerful enough to see our planet? When you look at the Earth right now, do you see space stations? Or do you see woolly mammoths? We'll be asking all those questions and more on this week's episode of the Ask an Alien Project. Hello et bonjour, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ask an Alien Project. The aim of our project is to create a repository of all the questions that we as a species would like to ask of an extraterrestrial civilization if we could sit down and have a chat with them. Not just how fast does your spaceship travel or how does it work, but the sociological and historical ramifications of contact as well. Now, you may ask, how can we study unidentified aerial phenomena, aliens, and life on other planets when we don't even know if these things exist? Well, you're right, we don't know if they exist. But our premise here is simple. We are getting closer every day to disclosure, formal revelation that we are not alone in the universe. And when this day comes, we as a species had better be ready. So that's why we're trying to assemble as many questions we could possibly think to ask of an extraterrestrial civilization. Now, we spend a lot of time and money looking for signs of intelligent life in the universe. From the large radio telescope arrays, to advanced telescopes on remote mountaintops, the Hubble Space Telescope, and now the exciting new James Webb Space Telescope, much of our scientific efforts are focused on looking for signs of intelligent life out there. However, with our limited 21st century technology, it occurs to us that it's also quite possible we are already being watched by an alien intelligence. To that end, we thought it might be useful to consider what an alien astronomer might see if they were observing us today. We can look up at the night sky and see millions of stars and billions of galaxies, making it hard to know where to look first. So we thought a useful exercise would be to examine some of the known exoplanets that have the best chance for harboring life as we understand it. From those planets located outside our solar system, we will consider what alien astronomers would see if they live on those exoplanets and are currently studying us right now. To make this exercise work, we need to agree on a couple of assumptions. First, that the extraterrestrial astronomers have a similar level of telescope technology as we do, or maybe even a little better. Second, that they can at least see a car-sized object on our planet, or other evidence of human-made structures and technology. Next, that they are aware of our presence and are looking at our planet, which shouldn't be too difficult as we've been sending out radio signals for many years, as well as atomic and other large explosions causing huge light displays visible from space. And finally, that they are looking at our planet right now, as in what we know as the year 2022. Considering our galaxy has a radius of 52,850 light years, let's narrow down the field of possible planets quite a bit, to a sampling of 6 of the currently known exoplanets which are considered to be Earth analogs. As we mentioned in episode 4, the exoplanet connection, an Earth analog is a type of exoplanet which scientists think has the best conditions for life as we know it to exist. These conditions include being in their star's circumstellar habitable zone, also known as the Goldilocks zone, meaning it's not too hot nor not too cold for life. Being mostly rocky, as opposed to being a gas giant, like Jupiter. Having oxygen in its atmosphere. Capable of having liquid water at the surface. And overall, a somewhat similar gravity to ours. Then we have to consider the impact of the vastness of space on an extraterrestrial astronomer's ability to observe us. The distances of space are so vast that light from the sun takes 8 minutes to reach Earth. So we can say that the sun is 8 light minutes away from us. Meaning every time you're out for a walk on a nice sunny day, The light reaching you left the surface of the Sun 8 minutes ago. Further out in our own solar system, light from the Sun reaches chilly Neptune 4.2 light hours after it leaves the Sun's surface. So here are some exoplanets to consider when wondering what alien astronomers might be seeing if they are observing us right this moment. First, let's look at Proxima Centauri b, also known as Proxima b. This is an exoplanet orbiting in the habitable zone of the red dwarf star Proxima Centauri, which is the closest star to the Sun and part of the triple star system Alpha Centauri. It's approximately 4.2 light years away from Earth and located in the constellation Centaurus. At 4.2 light years away, an alien astronomer looking at us would see Earth as it was 4.2 years ago. They would still see our advanced civilization with all its marvels and all its challenges, but before anyone had ever heard of COVID-19 and lockdowns. Next, let's take a look at TRAPPIST-1e. This is a solid, close to Earth-sized exoplanet orbiting within the habitable zone around the ultra-cool dwarf star TRAPPIST-1. It's approximately 40 light years away from Earth in the constellation of Aquarius. TRAPPIST-1e is similar to Earth's mass, radius, density, gravity, temperature, and stellar flux. In November 2018, researchers determined that of the 7 exoplanets in the multiplanetary system, TRAPPIST-1e has the best chance of being an Earth-like ocean planet, and the one most worthy of further study regarding habitability. So considering the distance, an alien astronomer on TRAPPIST-1e looking at us right now would see Earth as it was in the year 1982. Michael Jackson's album Thriller was the best-selling record on the planet. The Falkland Islands War had erupted. And Canada had developed a constitution of its own, as well as a Charter of Rights and Freedoms. A little further away, K2-288b is a super-Earth or mini-Neptune exoplanet orbiting in the habitable zone of K2-288b, a low-mass M-dwarf star in a binary star system located in the constellation of Taurus, approximately 226 light-years from Earth. K2-288b is likely to be in the habitable zone of its host star, and thus may be capable of supporting life, although the planet's composition is unknown. Now, if an alien astronomer is looking at us this evening from that planet, they would see the Earth as it was in the year 1796. In that year, Napoleon Bonaparte's French army defeated the Austrian force at the Battle of Bassano during the French Revolutionary Wars. The first Independence Day in the United States was held on July 4th, although sadly, slavery would still have been legal in much of the United States at the time. On the other side of the Pacific, Japan was ruled at the time by Emperor Kokaku, and the Japanese isolationism policy was further entrenched during his rule. Further away, Kepler 61b is a super-Earth exoplanet orbiting within parts of the habitable zone of the K-type star Kepler 61. It's located about 1,100 light-years from Earth in the constellation of Cygnus. Kepler 61b is a super-Earth, an exoplanet with a radius and mass bigger than Earth, but smaller than that of the ice giants of Neptune and Uranus. This planet may also have some volatile makeup or be more of an ocean planet to help explain the lower density. So what would an alien astronomer looking at our planet at 3 a.m. today see? If they were examining our planet and they're 1,100 light years from Earth, they would see Earth as it was in the year 922. Vikings were a powerful force around this time, but changes were already afoot. In the year 911, Viking chief Rollo was granted land by the Franks after he besieged Paris. The descendants of Rollo and his followers adopted the local languages and became what we'd know later on as the Normans. A little further to the east, the Byzantine Empire was embroiled in the Battle of Constantinople. Emperor Romanos I sent Byzantine troops to repel another Bulgarian raid at the outskirts of Constantinople. Much further away, we find Kepler 1296b. This is a terrestrial exoplanet that orbits a G-type star. At 5,061 light-years from Earth, astronomy students at the Kepler 1296b School of Alien Astrophysics would be looking at Earth in the year 3039 before current era. Around this time, if they looked up at their night sky with their best telescopes, they would see that the construction of Stonehenge was getting underway. In its first version, it consisted of a circular ditch and bank with 56 wooden posts, eventually being upgraded to the stone version we know of today. On the African continent, around the same time, is the first recorded use of papyrus by the Egyptians, which would have been a revolutionary technology at the time. And our final exoplanet is the farthest super-Earth exoplanet we know of so far, beautifully named OGLE 2018 BLG 0677L. Whew, well, I think we're just going to refer to this as OGLE. This is a super-Earth exoplanet that orbits an unknown type star and is 24,726 light-years from Earth. Its mass is 3.96 Earths, and it takes 1.4 Earth years to complete one orbit of its star. At 3.96 Earths in size, it may have gravity too strong for humans to survive there. But that's not to say that alien life couldn't be found there, flourishing. So if we look at this planet and ask an alien at their Space Sciences Center what do they see when they look at Earth, they would likely tell us they are seeing our planet as it was in the year 22,704 BCE. This would be in the Upper Paleolithic period. Around this era, woolly mammoths roamed the northern climates. At about 24,000 years ago, there was evidence suggesting that humans had communities in what is now Alaska and the Yukon of North America. Also around the same time would be the earliest known evidence of the Oasis America civilizations, which eventually became the cultures in modern northern Mexico and the southwestern United States. In the southern hemisphere, around this time, artifacts suggest that early human activity was occurring in what is now Canberra, the capital city of Australia. So with all that in mind, here's some questions that we would like to ask an alien if we could sit down and have a conversation with them. On your planet, do you look towards the stars? Do you have telescopes powerful enough to see our planet? When did you first become aware of our existence? When you look at Earth right now, do you see space stations, Roman soldiers, or woolly mammoths? If you since traveled to our planet, was it because of something you observed via your telescopes? Or did you stumble across us by accident? How many other planets do you know about? And how many of them have you studied in detail? When did you first start examining the skies and wonder if you were not alone? All of these questions will require much more research to answer, and we plan on discussing more exoplanet findings and how they apply to extraterrestrial life in future episodes. Speaking of research, if you're working in this field, we would like to learn from you and help you amplify your work to a broader audience. Please feel free to contact us directly or in the comments below. Also, in addition to the usual asking for people to like and subscribe to our channel, which is a really good idea as we're just getting started, please let us know what questions you would want to ask an alien if you could sit down and have an interview with them. So thank you and merci, and we'll see you next time on the Ask an Alien Project.